Boston City Councilor Tania Fernandes Anderson has announced she'll resign, and she's expected to plead guilty in a federal corruption case.
Yeah, Lisa, the councilor says she is pleading guilty and resigning because it is the right thing to do. Now the Boston City Council has to figure out what to do with her seat and how to restore public trust.
It is not every day that we get some good news on this particular channel, that we get somebody who gets their just desserts, but this is exactly what happened to Councilwoman, now former Councilwoman, Tania Fernandes Anderson, who we covered a couple of months ago, was actually charged with wire fraud, stealing taxpayer dollars, and a whole host of other corruption and financial crimes related to her position at the city council. Well, now she's done, she's cooked, the evidence is in, she is going to plead guilty, and I'm 100% here for it. There is not a more deserving individual of this harsh punishment, because not only did this woman get away with coming to this country illegally, she managed to work her way up into the city council, but when she got to the city council, she would not shut the hell up about how disadvantaged she was, and how, of course, the Boston City Council is so evil, white, and racist that all these evil, white racists are all sticking together and banding against her and making it seem like she's always guilty until she's proven innocent. Well, guess what, Tania? You are guilty. That's why you're pleading guilty. You tried to funnel money to your family members in order to put it in your own pocket. You ended up getting caught. And the only downside of this particular story is that you pled guilty rather than being found guilty, because you deserve a harsh punishment, honestly, to be deported from this nation after coming here illegally and being able to get away with that for so long. But that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
People have the right to their opinion. I think that they should afford, the privilege that everyone has to due process.
That was embattled Boston City Councilor Tania Fernandes Anderson in December, resisting resignation in the wake of her federal corruption case. But now federal prosecutors say the 46-year-old lawmaker will plead guilty to wire fraud and theft from a program receiving federal funds. And in her own words, she's resigning, saying in a statement, "I would like to apologize to my constituents, supporters, and all who have been impacted. Please forgive me."
So right there, you just saw the juxtaposition from when she was investigated for these particular crimes as compared to her statement right now. And you may have noticed in the B-roll that there's a lot of footage of her yelling, a lot of footage of her screaming. And most of the time when this woman was yelling and screaming, guess what? She was playing the victim of evil white racism, and accusing everyone and anyone based on the color of their skin being white of being evil, white, and racist. And again, she was doing this in the Boston City Council, one of the most woke, left-wing kind of city councils in the entire country. They quite literally had a scandal where they were doing a segregationist party for only minority representatives that the mayor, by the way, did not apologize for and ended up defending. But this person right here, she was the real victim. And let's go through some of those clips so you can understand why I can't stand this woman.
People are calling me and telling me, don't say anything, stay in your lane, be quiet, sit down, you will lose your seat, they won't vote for you, fight, don't fight. What the f do I have to do in this f***ing council in order to get respect as a black woman? And I'm gonna tell you, I am not afraid of losing the votes. I'm not afraid of the seat. I'm not afraid of anybody here.
So in that particular video, I want to make it clear, I'm the one who edited out the swear word right there that aired on television, and this is how this woman would operate as a member of the city council, as by the way, she's throwing out ridiculous racial allegations against other people, saying that the whites are all sticking together and they're working against the minorities, therefore a white person shouldn't be in charge of drawing the districts because we can't trust the evil white racists, while all at the same time saying, what the F does she have to do to get respect around here as a black woman in the city council? And apparently she thinks that stealing from the taxpayers is the thing that you would do in order to do so. Now, I will also point out that part of the reason, according to the investigation documents, that she decided to turn to this low-level, ridiculous theft scheme is because this woman could not manage her own personal finances. She was not able to pay her own rent on her salary, by the way, and she was not able to make her own car payments.
And in around that same time in 2023, Ms. Fernandes Anderson, the grand jury alleges, hatched this scheme to funnel bonus payments, taxpayer money into her own pocket.
Court documents claim Fernandes Anderson was facing financial hardships, unable to make rent or car payments.
And she would constantly push for more money from the city council to be paid to her. She ended up getting the raises that she asked for, but she still, with all that additional money, could not manage her own personal finances, which, by the way, speaks a lot to the intelligence of this woman. So instead, what she decided to do, despite the fact that she was warned, by the way, to not hire family members as staff, was hire a family member to be a member of their staff. Then she ended up paying this family member a bonus through a federal grant, by the way, that was double all of her other staffers' bonuses combined. And then she had this individual meet her up in the city council bathroom in order to exchange the cash with her. And again, this was all alleged just a few days ago, but she is pleading guilty, so we can conclude that this actually happened. And by the way, the records in the Justice Department report are pretty clear. They're pretty detailed. They know the banks that this was deposited in. They have the statements where she claims that this person is not a relative. So what you can do to get some respect as a black woman in the Boston City Council is stop robbing the taxpayers. Stop playing the race card. Stop playing the victim when you are in fact the perpetrator, and now you have to face the consequences of that.
White counselors here have somehow figured out a way and taken advantage of an opportunity to take redistricting and give it to a white counselor. The fear is that, and this is, again, reporting out, the fear is that because some people are afraid that their district will change and diversify, like Council Baker's district, that people will run for office and that person will be a person of color. And so everyone is now super afraid that because Councilor Braden, a white woman, has it, that now that this body, because councilors, for example, all the white councilors here stick together, that they will vote or try to move the districts in a way that is not diverse sufficiently to be able to vote in electives of color. We have fought for a very long time. It is 2022. We're going back and forth about allegations, but here, people are not innocent until proven guilty. People are guilty first. People are crucified. People are lynched. Same old tricks, same masters though. And still, people, now everything's changed and everybody's upset. Everybody is boiling up.
I mean, again, the absolute absurdity of this, that, oh my god, the white council members might actually do a good job drawing the districts, and instead, we should let this corrupt, illegal immigrant to our country, who was given a free pass on that, have control over the process. And all the whites are sticking together, all the whites are working against them, and by the way, this is all occurring as this woman is running this particular scheme on the taxpayers, as this woman is stealing money out of the pockets of the Boston residents, which, by the way, if you voted for this woman, even though I'm not a fan of the "you voted for this, therefore you deserve to be victimized by a crime" or something of the sort, you actually do deserve it, because this woman is a cancer through and through. Again, her whole shtick is screaming and yelling, and everybody who's snapping on behalf of this woman because you can't clap because that's triggering, you also deserve this. Honestly, you should be forced to pay back the taxpayers on her behalf because you ended up backing this woman up. You were cheering her on, even though what she's doing is blanket and obvious racism. Again, this woman is absolutely disgusting. Right after this speech about the corruption of the white man, about how it's the same masters as before that are crucifying and lynching the innocent Beba Angel black city councilwoman who was an illegal immigrant and got free pass after free pass after free pass, this woman went to the bathroom and pocketed taxpayer dollars. This woman went to the bathroom and stole from her constituents. She didn't even have the decency to leave the damn building in order to do so, and yet she was allowed to go on these stupid ass rants repeatedly. Well, guess what? You're the most anti-white politician in the country. Unsurprisingly, you are corrupt, because in America, we actually try to a certain extent to cut off this nonsense. We actually try with the laws that we put into place, you know, the country that you disrespected by coming in here illegally, to actually tamp down on the stuff that goes on in your homeland. And by the way, she's an illegal illegal migrant from Cape Verde. So maybe she was just bringing that same kind of energy because she didn't want to subordinate herself to the evil white racist when she decided to steal from the taxpayer.
I am sick and tired of this body so stupidly racially divided, so afraid, so depraved. People with no faith because they are afraid of they're losing their advancement. They're afraid of bargaining. They're afraid of leveraging. These people have, oh my God, I can't even call you cowards because desperation deserves mercy. Here's a redistricting. Fine, we give it to a white woman. Can we all get along? Can we get together? Can we love each other now? Can we make sure that black and brown babies don't die? Can we make sure that cops don't kill before people are proven innocent? Can we do that? No, 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 because this body crucifies you first because of allegations. This is not a court. You don't get to crucify people before they're proven guilty. They're innocent until proven guilty. Now, after this, I will look forward to working with you because I have stamina. I believe, as Baldwin said, what you do, not what you say. Your votes here sometimes are racist. You move sometimes in a way that hurts my people. And then when I get up to stand up and talk, all she talks about is black stuff.
As you should.
I am here to represent every single black woman and man that suffers in the community.
There's so much to respond to right there that I think is absolutely amazing. First and foremost, in the United States of America, I don't know if you're aware of this. Maybe you're thinking of a country that maybe shares your religion a little bit more. We do not crucify people even after they're found guilty of crimes in this nation, because that's not what we do. But second, do you notice the leap? This is all from one clip. I'm just cutting it up and throwing it out there in pieces for you because I'm actually providing my own commentary on this. She goes from redistricting, giving the seat to a white woman. Oh my God, a white person in the city of Boston getting representation, holding a city council seat. Oh, that's so horrible. Then she jumps to black babies are being killed. The innocent Baba Angel Aladdins are being killed by the white police officers in Boston before they're proven innocent because, again, she's stumbling and bumbling over her words. She's just screeching out like a ridiculous, insane person right here. And again, this is all while she's plotting her theft of the taxpayer. And by the way, she was warned prior to this investigation, prior to her doing this again, not to hire family members. She did it anyway. So while she's corrupt, while she's actually guilty, pretending to be innocent, she's talking about innocent Baba Angel black people being killed by the police. And then she has the audacity as she goes on this racist rant, this anti-white rant about how white people are all sticking together and working against her, poor innocent Baba Angel thief of the taxpayer purse, about how, oh, your votes are racist, your votes are terrible. She quite literally is trying to vote to racially redistrict the city council so she could get more electeds of color because she wants to get rid of white people on the city council. And her veneer, the thing that she's hiding behind, is this virtue of her being a strong, independent black woman that's fighting against the racist system. Again, you're the one who brought the kleptocracy from Africa to this country illegally and stole from the taxpayers in the city of Boston, all while calling them racist, all while insulting them. Again, this woman should have never held public office at any point whatsoever. She should have never been forgiven for illegally migrating to this nation. And the fact that she had all of those breaks, all of those privileges, time and time again in this great country, and all she could do was talk about how much she hated it and how racist this country was, absurd, insane. Manage your own finances first. Get your own house in order. Stop taking money from your cousin or your brother or whoever in the bathroom of the city council chamber and actually run yourself with honor before you call out anybody else's honor.
God has my back. I am not afraid to not have political or any type of affiliations or connections. I came here, I fear none, no man but my Lord. I came here to serve people. I came here to love. I came here to grow.
Again, the performative nonsense, the screaming, the absolute ridiculousness. She's a petulant child, again, who has been spoiled by this great nation and decides to reward us by stealing from it.
But people talk about this racial equity thing. It's all fake. Thank you. And you do politics and you hurt each other. And yet, here I am, a 5-foot-tall African woman from the projects. And I'm here to tell you, if the voters don't vote me back,
and to her point about the racial equity talk being nonsense, that's actually true. It might be the only true thing that she ever said, but not for the reasons that she's putting it forward. Because again, this theory that we need to introduce policies that promote racial equity is based on a fundamental lie. The idea that disparities between groups is due to discrimination. It's not. It's due to differences in behavior. If you want to be successful, like let's say Asians in the United States of America, then you better work hard and study like Asians do in the United States of America. You can't study 1/4 of the time, not put in the effort, not show up to school, and then bitch and moan why they're in a different place from you at the end of the race. But a good example of this to make it more personal is that white city councilwoman that she was calling out, you know, the one who was ganging up in order to save her district with all the other whites. She paid her bills. She pays for her car. She is not drowning in debt. Therefore, she's likely not stealing from the taxpayers. Conversely, you're not paying your bills. You're not paying your own rent. You're getting into debt, begging the city for more money. That didn't solve your problem because you don't have the discipline in order to control your own finances. That's why you're taking money from a relative in the bathroom. That's why you're acting the way that you do. That's why she should get to keep her seat in the Boston City Council and you should go to federal prison. Do you understand the differences? It's like when you behave differently, when you act differently, you get a different result. It's almost as if an effect comes after the cause. It's almost as if an action then leads to a consequence. You get that? I know you're bitching and moaning while people are snapping in favor of you like, oh my God, you're so special, you're so innocent. Well, guess what? You're not innocent. And again, I will highlight once more, we do not crucify people in this country if they're found guilty, let alone do it when they're innocent.
It's unfortunate what has happened, and it seems that there's been some sense of justice reached here.
Fernandes Anderson could spend a year in prison if federal prosecutors have their way.
Residents of District 7 and across the city rightly should have representation, and public officials rightly should be held to a high standard. So I called initially for resignation months ago.
The feds say Fernandes Anderson hired her relative in 2022, then gave her a $13,000 bonus, but then pocketed $7,000 as a kickback amid financial struggles. As part of the plea deal, Fernandes Anderson also admitted she filed fraudulent federal income tax returns in 2021, 2022, and 2023, but won't be charged with tax offenses.
So here you have the mayor right here who, by the way, pushes all this racial nonsense, pushes protections for illegal immigrants, and it turns out her illegal immigrant councilwoman is the one who ends up going down for corruption and could face at least a year, which is what federal prosecutors are pushing for, but probably should face more time than that, in my humble opinion. But of course, I don't give a damn what this woman says, and I'm actually going to disagree with her premise that the people of District 7 deserve representation. I think when you have this woman go to jail for corruption or be convicted of corruption, as is the truth right now, then you don't get a city councilwoman for the next election. You just don't get to have it. Maybe we'll appoint somebody if we're feeling generous, but if you looked at that woman, that race hustler, that absolute grifter, and decided that was my gal, that's the person I'm going to put forward, no more for a little while. You lose your local representation. Good luck next time. We're just going to take a break because you don't deserve it. This woman was a clown from the jump. Even if she didn't steal from the taxpayers, which, by the way, of course she stole from the taxpayers, she did not deserve this seat. Just look at the way she was acting. Look at the way that she was operating. She's in the damn city council attacking white people in general, viciously, repeatedly, claiming that she is the greatest of all victims when all she got was pass after pass after pass by our society. It's shameful.
We need major ethics reform in the city of Boston.
In the interest of transparency, Councilor Flynn, who also called for the resignation, says councilors should disclose their taxes.
We lost a lot of credibility. We lost a lot of respect that we've had from the residents of Boston. We have to regain that.
Now councilors have to decide what happens to Fernandes Anderson's District 7 seat.
We know she's guilty now, so I mean, she needs to deal with everything. So I wish her, luck going forward, but as one of the members on the city council, I have a strong feeling about making sure that we move this along quickly and we get back to the business.
Honestly, these white members of the Boston City Council are way too soft. They're being way too kind with their words, and I don't like it at all. I would be like, oh, what happened now? Like, where's the snaps on your behalf right now? What happened to all the whites sticking together and screwing over everyone, and you being this wonderful representative, this life-altering kind of politician, somebody who's changing all of our society? Oh, you're going to federal prison? Oh, you had to steal from the taxpayer and then take the money from a female staffer from the bathroom of our city council chamber? Oh, so sad. Oh my God, Tania Fernandes Anderson, we were going to build a statue to you, but guess what? The money got misappropriated. Maybe check under the seat of the toilet in the bathroom if you want to find it, since apparently that's where you think taxpayer money should go. Again, the symbolism, which is a real word by the way, of her exchanging this money in the bathroom as she's flushing taxpayer dollars down the toilet, A+, first class all the way. And again, this woman, perpetual victim all the time, perpetual attacker of white people, again, a cry bully. She cries out as she strikes you, so it couldn't have happened to a more deserving person. And goodbye, Tanya, get the hell out of here.
Tomorrow night, they'll be discussing whether to have a special election for District 7 to replace the councilor.
So yeah, they're going to be discussing a timetable for the special election, but I do think my theory of maybe you don't get to vote for a little while should hold a little bit more water, but that's where I'm going to leave it right here. I want to know what you guys think about all this down in the comments below. What do you think of Tania Fernandes Anderson as a whole? What do you think about her crazy anti-white rants? And do you agree with me that maybe we should take a pause on District 7's representation because they voted this woman into office despite the fact that she was an unhinged lunatic, an absolute racist, and by the way, came to this country illegally? Again, all your thoughts down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about an anti-white representative going down for corruption. Till next time.